Hi learners, welcome to my class today. Remember, teacher Digital Benson Kabachia, and today we are going to discuss about triangles. We're going to major on right angle triangles, and you're going to learn about the Pythagorean relationship. Welcome as we discuss our topic today. Learners, since you're lower primary school, you have learned about triangles. A triangle is a three-sided figure. You have different types of triangles: isosceles triangles, equilateral triangles, scalene, and you also have the right angled triangle. In the right angled triangle, the largest angle is always 90 degrees. So the three sides of the right angled triangles are related as follows. One, we have what we call the base, which we denote with letter R. We have the height, which is represented with the letter B. And you have the longest side, C, which is always our hypotenuse. So learners, these three sides are related to each other when we square them. First of all, you have the two shorter sides. The two shorter sides are the base, which is represented by A, and the height, which is represented by letter B. The longest side is the hypotenuse, which is represented by letter C. So when you are given two of the sides, you can be able to get the other side. The first formula we normally say is that A squared plus B squared is equals C squared. So in the other way, we can also say that A squared is equals C squared minus B squared, or B squared is equals C squared minus A squared. So the sum of the squares of the two shorter side is equals the square of the longest side. For example, our first triangle that we are going to draw measures 3 centimeter by 4 centimeter. Then you are told to get the hypotenuse, which is represented by C. To get C, learners, we are going to square the base, we square the height, whatever we get, we square root. So in our case, C squared is equals 3 squared plus 4 squared. C squared is equals 3 times 3, mental sum is 9, plus 4 times 4 is 16. C squared is equals 9 plus 15 is 25. So if C squared is equals 25, what about C? We square root both sides. The square root of C squared is C. The square root of 25 is 5. So C, our hypotenuse, is equals 5 centimeter. Learners, that's how we get the longest side, by adding the squares of the two shorter sides. In another instance, learners, whereby we are given a triangle, and we are given the longest side is 10 centimeter, and one of the shorter side is 8 centimeter, and you are required to get the base, which is represented by letter A. We are going to say A squared is equals the longest side, which is C, 10 squared, minus one of the shorter side, which is 8 squared. A squared is equals 10 squared, which is 10 times 10, gives us 100, minus 8 squared, which gives us 64. So A squared is equals 100 minus 64. You can subtract using the particle. You subtract 0 minus 4, impossible. You borrow from 1, you are left with 0, becomes 10. 10 minus 1, 9 becomes 10. 10 minus 4, 6. 9 minus 6, 3. You get that 6. So a squared is equals that 6. What about a? You square root the two of them. A squared is equal, the square root of a squared is a. The square root of that 6 is 6. So a is equals 6 centimeters. Learners, we can also have, now we get the height, so that we get all the three sides. You may be given that this is that 13 centimeter. You are given this is 5 centimeter, and you are told to get the height. Our height, which is represented by b, will be b squared is equals the longest side, 13 squared, minus one of the shorter side, which you are given is 5. We square to be b squared is equals 13 times 13 is equals 169, minus 5 times 5 is equals 25. B squared is equals 169 minus 25. 9 minus 5, 4. 6 minus 2, 4. You drop 1. You get 144. You square root both of them. B squared, you get the square root to get b is equals the square root of 144 is equals 12. So our height is 12 centimeters. Learners, having done those three examples, we are going to have a table of the right angled triangles. We are going to have right angled triangles. We are going to have measurements of those measurements of those triangles that are right angled triangle. We shall have our base here, we shall have our height, and we shall have our hypotenuse, the longest side. So the first one you have done was 3 centimeter as base. The two shorter side are 3 and 4. The hypotenuse will be 5. In the second one, it will be 5 and 12. If you square 5 and you square 12, you add, then you get the square root, you have 13. The other set is 6, 8, and 10. We have 7, 24, and 25. We also have 8, 15, and 17. We have 9, 12, and 15. We have 10, 24, and 26. We also have 12, 16, and 20. We have 15, 20, and 25. Learners, with these sets, you can form a perfect right angled triangle. We deal with decimals and fraction. For example, 2.5, we will go with 6 and 6.5. If it is in form of fraction, it will be 2.5 by 6 and 6.5. We have 4.5, 6, 7.5. We also, in fraction, is the same as 4.5, 6, 7.5. Lastly, we have 7.5, 10, and 12.5, which can be written as 7.5, 10, and 12.5. Learners, all these are sets of right angled triangle, whereby the two shorter sides, when you square the two shorter sides and you add and you square the hypotenuse, you are going to see that they are equal. For example, let us pick one of the values. We have 12, 16. 12, we have a triangle here, whereby this is 12 meter, this is 16 meter, and this is 20 meter. If you square 16 meter and 12 meter, and you square 20, they should be equal. For example, 12 squared plus 16 squared should add up to 20 squared. 12 times 12 will be 144. 16 times 16 will be 256. 20 times 20 will be 400. Learners, if you add 144 plus 256, it will give you 4 plus 6, 10, color 1, 1 plus 4, 5, 5 plus 5, 10, color, you write 0, color 1, 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 2, 4. It will give you the square of 20. So this is to say that this is a perfect right angled triangle whereby a squared plus b squared is equals c squared. Learners, in an exam, the hypotenuse is normally represented by the following words. When you talk about hypotenuse in an exam, they talk about a ladder. They also talk about the diagonal of a triangle. So if you are, this is a vertical wall, then we want to paint the wall up to the highest level. We are going to use our ladder. That is our ladder. So the ladder from the top of the wall up to the bottom of the cloud, this is now our hypotenuse. The distance from the wall up to where the ladder is placed, our horizontal, becomes the base. The vertical height remains the height. So in most cases, the ladder represents the hypotenuse or the longest distance. In another instance, whereby you have a rectangle, maybe given a rectangle, measuring, our rectangle may be measuring 10 and 24 meters. Then a diagonal is drawn to cut it into two equal parts. This diagonal serves as our hypotenuse, which is the longest distance, such that when you square 24 squared plus 10 squared should give you the hypotenuse. So 24 times 24 gives you 576 plus 100, 10 squared. So 576 plus 100 gives you 676. If you square 676, it will give you 26. So our hypotenuse, which is diagonal, will be 26 meters. So learners, when you are given the word ladder or a diagonal, it represents hypotenuse. In other instance, you may be given what is called an isosceles triangle. Remember about the isosceles triangle? The isosceles triangle has two sides which are equal. In our case, we have our isosceles triangle here. Then you are told that this measures 15 meters. So automatically this one will measure 15 meters. Then you may be told that the distance from the base from here up to here is 18 meters. Then you are asked, find the height of the triangle. To get the height of the triangle, you are supposed to drop a perpendicular. Remember the properties of a perpendicular. The perpendicular bisects a line into two equal parts and also forms an angle of 90 degrees. So if this line is bisected, our base, which is 18 meters, is cut into two. So this one will be 9 meters and this one will be 9 meters. So our isosceles triangle will give us two right angled triangles which are equal. So with this one now, you can be able to get our height. Our height, which is b squared, is equals the longest side, 15 squared minus 9 squared, which is our base. So b squared is equals 15 times 15 is equals 225 minus 9 times 9 is equals 81. Subtract 225 minus 81. 5 minus 1, 4. 2 minus 8, impossible. Borrow 1, you're left with 1. Bring 1 to 2, becomes 12. 12 minus 8, 4. Then you drop 1. So b squared is equals 144. So to get b, we square root. So b is equals, the square root of 144 is 12. So our height is 12 meters. So learners, with these 3 examples whereby you have the ladder, you have the diagonal, and you have an isosceles triangle, you use the Pythagorean relationship to get the missing side. So this is how we work the Pythagorean relationship. Putting in mind that you are supposed, learners, for you to answer question very fast, you are supposed to master all these sets of right angle triangle so that you can be able to work your work to solve your question in a very short time. Learners, try also to know the squares of numbers from 1 up to 30. You are supposed to do it offhand. Learners, that mark the end of our lesson today. I hope you are going to master the sets of right angle triangle. You're going to apply them in your exam and you're going to work hard so that you can succeed. Thank you very much. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm teacher Digital Benson Kabachia. Like, subscribe, and share. Thank you for watching.